Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today, where we're going to talk about field-tested innovations about our new products. And we've got some expert pros from the field here today, along with Todd Goers from WAC Lighting. So I'd like to welcome all of you here today and go around the horn to kind of introduce yourselves and tell everybody about who you are, how long you've been in landscaping, and we'll start with Conrad. Conrad, you want to start off?
Sure. Yeah. Hi. So my name is Conrad. My last name is Monteiro. I came to Canada about 22 years ago. I came from Dubai. Did a little bit of lighting there, but came here to look for an electrical job in the electrical field. Found a job with Moonstruck. Thought I would be here for a year or two, but now it has been 22 years. So I bought the business with my business partner, Carl, present business partner, from the original owner, whose name was Bob Tubby. And ever since, I love what I do. The company has grown. So that's
awesome.
it.
Joel, you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. I'm Joel Mayer with Texas Outdoor Lighting. We reside just outside of Austin, Texas. My wife and I started this lighting company going on 20 years now. I dabbled in landscape lighting when I was in the Navy, stationed in Virginia Beach, and came back to Texas. We were starting a family, getting married, and thought, we really enjoyed what we do there. We've got a lot of great trees and properties here around Texas. So we just dove into it. So we've been doing that now, have our two oldest boys starting to work outside in the field with us, digging ditches and climbing trees. So trying to raise up the next generation of lighting designers. But they got to start at the bottom. So here we are now, very blessed to have worked all over the great Lone Star State, and definitely have loved working with WC and their great team.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Todd, you want to talk about a little about yourself?
I sure can. Thank you, Conrad. Thank you, Joel, for being on, first of all. But I'm Todd Goers, and with WAC Landscape Lighting, I am the sales director for the company for the what we call internally the green channel, or the green industry channel. And I've been with WAC since its inception of the landscape lighting product. So got a little history going all the way back from sale number one. So happy to be here today, and I'm glad we have the time here to talk a little bit about some of the newer items and some of the experiences that y'all have had with our products.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm Rachel Gilmore. I work here in marketing at WAC. And today I'm going to be the admin in the background, kind of managing. If you have any questions or anything, please put that into the chat or the Q&A box, and we will answer those later in the webinar. And then I'm going to hand it off to Todd, who will start leading you through the discussion.
Thank you, Rachel. And I want to, before I start with that, I want to thank everybody that is in attendance today for taking the time out of your day to sign in and to kind of go through what we're going to talk about today. We appreciate your interest. We appreciate your business. I know many of you are customers probably out there. Appreciate the past and what we expect, of course, to be future business. So what we're going to do, just a little lay of the land, I'm going to go through just some of our newer, there's like 5 newer products in what we would refer to as our legacy product line. I want to take you through those 5 new items. While I'm doing that, I might ask Joel and Conrad to talk about maybe some of their experiences if they've used these new products. So we'll go through that, and then we're going to talk about our newest line of landscape lighting product, which is a line that we're calling Colorscaping. Okay, so in the legacy line, one of the things that we had out for many years was a line of 12-volt AC tape lighting, and this 12-volt AC tape lighting was a great product. It was underwater rated, had a lot of great things about it, but there was a overwhelming majority of the people that told us what the one thing they did not like about this product was that it had a big, bulky connector that when you wanted to connect 2 pieces of tape together, it was a big bulky connector. Well, that connector was able to get us, an IP68 rating, but we realized that most of this tape was not going underwater or in an environment where it ever would. And we made a change to that this year. And so we have a new product that has just a butt connection, if you will, to each end of the tape. Makes for a nice, smooth, easy transition. This tape light is sold in, just like in the past, it's sold in sections. So you will buy this in a 1 foot, a 5 foot, 10 foot, and we go on all the way up to, I believe it's 25, even 35 feet. So if you want to get a smooth, transition, it is COB technology, so that you don't see any dots in the tape. It's just a nice, smooth. CRI on it is 90, so it's got a very, very nice, clean, crisp output. Some of it, I don't know if that's something that Joel, you or if Conrad, you have had a chance to try yet since we brought this out. Again, it's relatively new. It's out this year.
Yeah, we haven't, Todd, but I have a question for you on that. Is this tape, is it a flexible tape?
It's flexible in the way that it would bend, like going up and down, but not to make a 90-degree turn, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's top bend, not side bend.
Correct. And
there you go.
It is dimmable. Just a couple other things about it. You can cut it every 2 inches. It's dimmable. It's 1.5 watts and also 1.5 VA per foot. So it can be bright it's 100 lumens per foot. So it can be bright, nice. But it is dimmable.
And does it come in different? Does it come in different Kelvin ratings too?
The Kelvins, it would either be 2700 K or 3000 K.
So you got 2.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So just wanted to mention that as one of the 5 new items in our, what we reference as our legacy line. Another new item for 2025 is we have a product called a linear path light. And what the linear path light is, it's a path light. It's a 6401 is the model number for those that you may want to write this down. But it was built and made to drive light horizontally across a walkway or surface. Okay. Well, this fixture it's in the lumen range of 190, 195, and we've been selling it for several years. And the overwhelming majority of people that put this in, the first thing that comes to mind, or the first phone call I get after an install sometimes would be, hey, this is very bright. How do I dim it? Right? And you could dim it with an external dimmer, which we do manufacture, and others do as well. But what we did to this product that's different for 2025 is 2 things. We've made this product in brass, and maybe even more importantly than that, we put an onboard dimmer where you're going to put a screwdriver into a slot and you're going to be able to dim it down to as low as 65 lumens, and you'll have a range of 65 lumens to about 190 lumens.
Nice.
And that's new for us for this year. The brass aspect is new, and then the lumen range is new to dim it on board.
And I think that is key, because if you're lighting a wall that has got different heights and you've got these fixtures on the ground, now you can play around with that switch to make sure that you get the correct amount of light on it to push it higher, right?
Correct. So it's a nice little fixture. It often gets used in applications other than washing light horizontally. It's used as either a mini wall wash, or as I think you mentioned, mounting it to a wall, Conrad, and shining light downward. And so it's a very versatile little fixture. So
it is,
wanted to bring that up.
I have used it in a soffit where it has done a really nice it has done a really nice job. Other than that, I've used it even as a path light. I've kind of hidden it in bushes to kind of throw light on the path.
Okay.
And I was mentioning to Todd just a minute ago how much our builders and the recent meetings we've had with landscape architects are really enjoying this light. And just how compact it is, how versatile it is, and we can start doing away with the bigger, larger pathway lights and have more of a minimalist look on walkways.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. And this, again, I didn't mention it, but this is a light that, again, is either purchased in either 2700 Kelvin or
Right.
3000 Kelvin.
2000.
Yeah. Um, um, and in the past, we've had three, what we would reference and put in a category called deck lights. We've had three different models ever since we started into the business. We've added a fourth deck light, which we call our Trapezoid Deck Light. The name maybe not so important, but it's the model number is a 3041. The cool thing about this fixture is it's less than 2 inches wide, and it was developed so you could put it on a 2-inch by 2-inch maybe wooden spindle. In Florida, it would get used on a pool cage, and it wouldn't hang over the 2-inch surface area where in the past all of the deck lights that we manufactured would always, you couldn't put it on a 2-inch bar or wooden, a post, if you will, because it wouldn't look very professional as it would hang past the 2-inch surface area. So this is a little fixture that's pretty cool. Again, 2700 or 3000 K it can be purchased in. We make it in aluminum and brass, bronze, black, and white in the aluminum finish. It's a very, very new thing. I'm not sure either of you would have had a chance to use this yet.
No.
No.
Something very similar to it, but yes, yeah, that's what I love seeing. What's happening is a lot more miniaturized fixtures coming out that are still putting off a ton of light, and this thing's just very versatile for anything in wall lighting.
Yeah,
but we have some similar around our pool just for that safety aspect.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is a fixture that's going to put out 45 lumens, and may not sound like a lot, but if it's in a dark area, it's plenty of light to navigate the surroundings in the evening.
Right. Okay. And the other aspect that I think about a fixture like this is the daytime look. The daytime look, because this fixture is up high on a post or somewhere on a rail, it gets noticed very easily, and it's got a good look. Like Joel said, we've been using similar fixtures, which have to look good during the day. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Two more things in the legacy line. We had for the longest time we had a single well light that put out 505 lumens, and we were getting asked year over year to bring out a brighter model of that, and we did that about 2 years ago, I'm going to call it, and we called it I call it at least a grand Inground fixture. So it was a 12-volt fixture, but it was physically it was larger, and it put out a lot more light than the 5031 well light that we had. So the model of the 12-volt version is a 5033 if you want to jot it down. But what's new for 2025 is, and this is a 2000 lumen fixture, what's new for 2025 is we're now adding that same fixture into our line in 120 volts.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it's that will be called a 5034. And if you come across, I see this as something maybe for revamping a system that has some larger potentially halogen or what have you fixtures, and you want to turn it into an LED to save some energy. We'll have these 5034 fixtures, again 2000 lumens in the 120 volt as well. And we'll have that available for you this year. I think those are even in stock right now.
Awesome. Yeah,
Todd,
we
go ahead,
Conrad. Yeah, we recently installed some of these out at our place to test them out, because with well lights, the first thing I think about is water intrusion.
Yeah,
right.
One way or another, water's going to come up through the wires, going to come in through the tops, and the one's sealed right. So we got some from our local supplier just to highlight a big oak tree back behind our house. And we're probably a few months into it now. Tree looks amazing. No water intrusion at all yet. And we even have a lot of cattle that come around our house, and they are stomping all over these things and still working like they're brand new. So I'm very, very, very happy with this picture.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. That's awesome.
Yeah. Todd, I had a question for you about this one. Does this come with a rock guard on the top?
It does, yes. That would be an accessory you can purchase as well.
Separately, okay.
And it's Joel. It's funny that you mentioned that the water intrusion, because people it's a very common question. And you do open this fixture up because you're going to want to be able to adjust there's certain things you can adjust, the beam angle. There's a tilt mechanism inside there that can be adjusted, and also the brightness of the fixture. And every time somebody asks me, like, is water intrusion an issue? I mean, my standard comeback, which is true whether it's our well light or anybody in the industry's well light, a well light is really only as good as the last person that put it back together.
Sure, there you go.
Yeah, because it's very important that you're careful putting it together. You make sure that there's no dirt in between the seal and the case, and so on and so forth. And if you're in the industry, I think you know that. But
there's one more point I'd like to make is any in-ground fixture that goes in a hardscapes location, you have to put a pipe in there so that you're running a wire anyway. So let that wire be in pipe. That pipe is going to take the water out of that cavity. If you're running just wire without pipe, and if it's close to a garden bed, make sure that hole that brings the wire in is big enough so that the water can drain out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We're even throwing silicone packets in ours just to, not for this particular fixture, but other ones, just to whatever little moisture is in there to have something to absorb it so it doesn't sit up in the glass.
You're right. Yeah.
Nice. The final thing that we have on the legacy side of the line that's new for 2025 is a couple of years ago, once again, we brought out a line of what we refer to and reference as surface mountable indicator lights. And this is just an aesthetic thing, but all of the designs that we had, and we had 6 different designs, they were all round. Like, so when you look down upon them, they were circular. And we had enough requests where we decided to take that and make some square patterns. So now, if it fits the architecture of the job better, whatever, aspect that might be, you can buy these surface mountable indicators with a square pattern to them opposed to round. This has been a pretty popular fixture for us, and it gives the look of a core drill fixture without having to do all the work that's involved with the actual core drilling.
Right. And, it's surface mounted, right?
It's just surface mounted. Yeah, you still have to drill a single hole through a surface, whether that be, whether it be a paver, concrete, or wood, but then you would just fish the wire through and mount the back plate, which has the light engine in it, to the surface, and then put the top on.
And how long of the wire that comes with it?
You stumped me on that. I'd like to say 10 feet, but it could be 6, but I want to say 10. I'm not 100% positive of that. Okay. But I think the catalog will say, or I can get that to you after our call. As far as the legacy or standard line goes, I'll start with Joel here. Is there any? I mean, we have a whole bunch of stuff that we did not talk about. We just talked about the 5 new things. Is there any particular thing, like Joel, that you could in our legacy line, our static white line, it could be referenced as that is like your favorite, or thing that you like the most about it?
I certainly like the grand accents, the high output those fixtures create are amazing for when we're working on some of these larger live oak trees or cypress trees. I think Rachel throws some photos up of those, but they are so bright and well built and don't require a ton of maintenance. We certainly have had maybe to replace a couple here and there, but the ability to adjust the beam, the intensity, and have something that looks nice in the landscape when needed. When we need a lot of light output, that's typically what we're going to. We don't do a lot of pathway lighting. We don't do your typical standard, 24-inch tall pathway light. So we like the indicator, the marker lights that you guys make a lot as well. And we do a ton of coring with those fixtures. So we want something that looks very minimalist, something that can be stepped on, driven over, to try to keep our service guys from having to come out all the time. So I think between the Grand Accents and the Inground indicator lights is certainly our favorites.
Nice. All right, Conrad, how about yourself?
My favorites are the Grand, the 5211. I think having used it on so many of my jobs, the way I can adjust the beam spread and the amount of light is so easy. You have one guy sitting at the fixture, another guy a distant away, and you're making the adjustments and you're looking at it from a distance to see it. And it's fast. Like, you're not changing bulbs, you know. It's done the same night. You're not wasting time. And a few years later, if you see, you know, you need a little more light, you just go, you increase the light. That's one of my favorites. The second favorite I have is the step light, which is the 4011. Such a clean looking fixture. Like I said, I think to a lot of people that when you look at the finished fixture gone in the wall, you don't know how it's installed. You're trying to wonder where the screws are. You know, it's a clean looking fixture that comes in stainless. I've used in stainless, I've used in black, I've used in bronze. Really nice looking fixture, and it also comes in the horizontal and the vertical version, right? So
yes,
yeah, those are my favorites.
Yeah, we that's a popular fixture for us in it's our most popular step light in the landscape line, and we also sell a great deal of those in the interior of the home as well. We make those for interior use, and we sell a lot of them for that application as well. So it's a very, very popular step light. In if somebody's not familiar with this fixture, again, Conrad mentioned it's called a 4011. It is the model number 4011. But the light's hidden up within it, and it just does a great job of putting light out on the ground and with no glare whatsoever because of how the light source is hidden up within the fixture. And it gets a lot of play for us out there in the the step light world. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Conrad.
Yeah.
So we're going to move into the Colorscaping line, and I'd like to start just by giving a little overview of the Colorscaping line for those that might be on the call that don't know much about it or haven't tried it. But at the top of last year, 2024, WAC introduced this line of product called Colorscaping. And as a general overview, what this is it's a product line that we lead with, and we talk about it being a tunable white lighting product. It does white light from 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin and anywhere in the middle. Okay. And we foresee this going into somebody's home or business and it being on a white color 90 to 95% of the time. Now, with that, and as an added bonus, you just happen to get 16 million color options, which is what the variations of red, green, and blue can create. So that's just an added bonus. You get the color. So what I've learned is people, although it's going to be on white most of the time, the reason they want to buy it is because on a certain day, whether it's game day, St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, a holiday in December, whatever the reason may be, they want to utilize color, and even if it's only 5% of the time, that's why they buy this product. Joel and Conrad, I'll ask you. Let's start with Conrad this time. Have you done much work with the colored lighting systems that are out there, or ours specifically?
I have, and there's a picture I think which we'll be showing you later. I think so. This is what I want to say. I've used other color systems in the past, which was pretty tedious to go to each fixture, register it as a fixture. When I had a transformer and some fixtures in my office, I was trying to figure out how to set it up. I just followed a few videos and it was so easy. And after that, we went to site, we installed the fixtures first, and you're just running your 12-2 wire, right? You're not running an RGB wire.
Correct.
So just a regular 12-2 wire, hooked up everything, the Wi-Fi and stuff, and it was all done in minutes. Yeah, a very good experience. The client was happy too, because the client had a different system before, which kind of did not work out for him, and he wanted a particular color. So yeah, he was happy.
Yeah, Joel, have you had a chance to explore the colorscaping system at this point?
Yeah, we certainly have. We've done a couple projects with colorscaping so far. As you said, they just have recently come out. We were doing a larger residential project at the end of last year that fit the needs perfectly. So we ended up doing a large pathway, lighting the house. What was nice, and one of the key points is they wanted app controllability, but also it needed to integrate into their, I believe, it's a Control 4 system, which this did flawlessly. That the integrators did. We didn't have any part of that. But they wanted to have, like Todd said, the ability to these folks entertain a lot. So a schedule was set up so that the entire year already has a calendar set to change colors throughout the year. Very
Nice.
vibrant, as
Nice.
we'll show some of the photos here, just how intense some of these colors can be. But working in a lot of these dark sky communities, it was nice to be able to set up a time at 10:30, 11 o'clock where lights are going to dim way down. So they didn't want the lighting to be bothering the neighbors. We've done a large system at my house, in our backyard, especially. So we've lit up all the trees, and some of my younger kids, especially, their favorite things were sitting outside or in the hot tub at night. They play around with the My WC app and just play around with changing different trees, different colors, and creating different scenes.
Nice.
Depending on what, football team, baseball team's playing, they have all sorts of automations created.
Nice. Yeah, it can be a fun thing like that.
Yes, sir.
It's a very short, I say short, but it's very versatile, because some of the other fixtures that we have, as a lot of you know that are maybe listening, we have adjustments on them, for beam angle. So we don't need a whole collection of like accent lights. But for those, I want to talk just briefly about the new fixtures that we've added to the Colorscaping line in 2025. But before I do that, just as an overview, I just want to let everybody know that we do have accent lights, we have path lights, we have a wall wash, we have a up-down cylinder light that's available, we do have tape lighting, and we have a well light, and hardscape lights, and I'm probably forgetting something, but pick up a WAC catalog or go find it online, and you'll see the complete collection. But what's new for 2025 is we're introducing, which we did not have in 2024, we're introducing a step light, and not by coincidence, but it's the 4011 step light in Colorscaping, Conrad. So your favorite. So the 4011 is being added. We are also adding again, just something that we did not have last year, but we are adding it this year, is the linear path light, which is the 6401. We're adding that to the Colorscaping line. And the final thing we're adding is, and because of popularity, is we're adding the 2-inch core drilled indicator family, the entire family with all the different collection of tops in stainless steel and bronze stainless steel. We're adding those into the Colorscaping family. So if you pick up a new 2025 catalog or download it or go look at it, online, you'll see those additions they're in the book now. So it shows the complete catalog of Colorscaping fixtures. Okay. The tape lighting has been, I think I might have mentioned that as far as one of the things that we had in the line in 2024. It continues on, into 2025 as well. Nothing has been discontinued, so anything that you were familiar with from 24 is rolled into 2025. I get this question every single week, and I'm going to address it here. So if you're listening, currently today, we have a 150 watt transformer and a 300 watt transformer. And the question I get every single week is, will you be coming out with a 600 watt transformer in Colorscaping? And that is the plan. However, it is not ready yet. So I don't have an answer like today on this webinar to tell you it'll be ready in 3 weeks or 3 months. But rest assured, when it is ready, we'll let you know. And it would be a nice thing to have. And we understand that, putting multiple transformers on the side of a home, which is often the case with some of the jobs that are going in with this line, the less is more, of course, with the putting these boxes on the side of a home, which generally they may go.
Yeah.
Okay. So just and at this point, I know we got about 15 minutes maybe. I think Rachel, I'd like for Rachel to fire up and some of the pictures that you guys sent. I think you each sent a few pictures, and I'd like to look at those and maybe talk about what you used to create the scene and just give a little bit of background about the project.
Sounds good.
It looks like we're
Todd, one
starting with you.
thing we talked about the other day, going back to the transformers real quick, make sure that when you're running multiple transformers and you're Ethernetting, daisy chaining these transformers together, utilize that surge protector in the transformer. Todd and I learned the hard way last year with the client that bypassed that,
Yes,
zapped the entire system. That's there for a reason, especially all of us that live in the South that get a lot more thunderstorms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very, very, very good point, Joel. Very good point. Thank you.
All right, so Joel, I've got your slides up first. If you want to talk through this first example here.
Certainly. We just recently turned this one on the other night. The grain accents were great. This is down near the river, so we had a lot of larger pecans to hit. This is more of a commercial space. It's a kind of a rentable townhome complex. So we wanted to really show off these larger pecans. Moonlight, so we're in a dark sky area, so we had to do a lot of moonlighting along these paths where possible. This is one of the first times I've seen this WAC, the 6401 fixture here and there. Todd brought it up the other day, and it just kind of like, you know what, I need to utilize that light. On the pathway in the photo in the middle, we ended up using half as many fixtures than what I'm used to using with doing our indicator lights, and did that 6401. That was the builder's, out of everything we did there. That was one of the builder's favorite little fixtures. This is where everybody walks down to get to the lake and the boat docks. The glare shield was great. They were worried about people coming out of their little backyards and getting blinded by light, but we adjusted those, set the screws so the indicator light, the glare shield won't move, and they just absolutely loved it. So that one will just run all night for, just keeping the place safe and secure when nobody's there, but they were blown away.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Do you want to talk about this next one?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, this is the one that actually Todd was involved with us and our local supplier on. Was our first colorscaping project. We didn't really run it through a bunch of colors when we were getting some of these aerial shots. They had pathways that they wanted lit on both sides. We used the indicator lights around a wall in a vertical wall to shine light onto the turf in the back, and then uplit and moonlit some of the trees on the front side. So we integrated this system to all of the interior lights, everything around the pool. It's all into one control. So as they change colors on the inside, whether they're warming, the colors are cooling off everything, or doing color changing events, everything inside and outside all changes colors together. So that was the big selling point on the colorscaping, is how that would integrate.
Awesome.
It is also a dark sky community, as is this one, to where we have lighting dimming down. I think at 11 o'clock at night, everything dims way down to 10-20%. So it's just on enough to be bright and look safe, but they're not bugging the neighbors. Same thing here, indicator lights. He was actually a pilot, so we did on the previous one. He loved that runway effect. He thought that was really cute. But just lit their house up. We had the ability to change colors or whatnot for their events. And again, the architect had planned pathway lights sticking up out of the grass. We talked them into this. They love it, and they do this on every project now.
Yeah,
That's awesome,
lovely.
Joel.
I like the shadow on the front of the house there, Joel. The
Right.
shadows of
Thank
the
you.
trees.
Yeah, I
Looks
appreciate
good.
that. They enjoyed that.
Very nice.
And he was probably one of our first colorscapes on this on Lake LBJ. We just were showing the versatility of these fixtures. You know, we learned it's, having a tree that intense blue is kind of overwhelming. So we now kind of will have all the fixtures in different colors to do just kind of a multicolor effect. But whenever they're not there, this tree is just a nice 3000 Kelvin. It's a 50, 60 foot tall cypress. But man, it looks great from, I mean, whether you're half mile away down the river or in the backyard entertaining, it's a lot of fun.
Joel,
But they were blown away too.
Joel, how many fixtures are on that tree?
I think we're just uplighting it with 3 fixtures, maybe 4. And then we've got, I believe we have a couple in the top aiming downwards as well into the yard.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Conrad, do you want to share some of these?
Yeah, so this is a project we did last year in Oakville. At the back, the second picture with the pool, those are the 5211s that we had to adjust in a certain way so that the light wasn't too much. They did a really good job. And halfway on the tree, you see the low version of the fixture. I'm not sure what the number is, but we used two. We used the 5211 and we used the other one too. Yeah, turned out really nice. The client was really happy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Here's my favorite picture. I mean, my favorite fixture. I love this. Yeah, so mainly to light the steps going from the back of the house to the garage. The picture on the right is the one leading to the front door. And classy looking fixture, very clean looking fixture.
Really is.
Very nice. Very
super
nice
nice,
looking.
Conrad.
Yeah. Here's where we use the colorscaping. Of course, the Hulk, we had to light him green. The forest was lit red. This is way out in the country. The client has a lot of wildlife around, so he wanted only that red color, no other color at that point, because it keeps the wildlife around for that particular color. Yeah.
Very cool. How tall is that statue, Conrad?
It's probably about 9 feet tall.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody needs one of those in their backyard, I think.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing those. And then I know we had some questions come through, and I know a lot of people were asking for the product images and things, and we'll send out something after this that kind of goes through all of the products that Todd reviewed, and then links to our website so you can learn more about those. So we'll get those out, and let's see if there was anything else that came in. They asked about the tape lighting. For tape lighting that could be installed into pavers, is there a track system for that?
To be installed like with tape light where it's aimed upwards.
Yeah, that is not something that we have, that we recommend our tape lighting. It's not an IP68 product, so putting it into a paver itself is not something that I believe we recommend doing.
It's a super cool look, though. I don't know what products to use it either. We haven't had any requests for that.
Yeah. Any other specific product questions, Rachel, or that have come in?
They asked about the mini accent in colorscaping. Do we have a mini accent in colorscaping?
Well, we have a mini accent, but not in colorscaping. So the smallest accent we have would be the 5811, as we call it in the colorscaping family, which is in the standard line or legacy line, we call it the 5011, which is really our flagship product. I don't know that we'll ever come out with the closest thing that we have to a mini accent light would really be one of the new for 2025, as we mentioned earlier, the 2-inch indicator light could be used. It does have tops, and it could be used as a small accent light, because we do have straight up, unobstructed, straight light throw options for that fixture.
Okay.
There you go.
The last question I see is somebody asked if there will be a color wheel option for 2025. I think
So there is a color wheel option that is available. It has been available since the beginning of 2024, and it is again available in 2025. Somebody may not know that when you're on the selection screen that pops up initially, that you can swipe to the left, and then it moves to a color wheel option to control the color.
There you go.
I get that question a little bit, so somebody might just not know that you have that option.
It is kind of hidden, right?
Yeah, and then a real cool option that, again, if you haven't got that far yet, if you swipe one more time to the left, you actually get to a screen that has a little box in the bottom left-hand corner that allows you to put a numeric and alpha code in, which we call a hex code, which, I mean, every single sporting team, whether it's collegiate or pro in the country, will have a hex value for their colors. You can Google that and drop that into that box, and it'll take you right to your favorite team's color.
Oh, wow.
That's how we found our perfect burnt orange, was that way. So it worked great.
Very nice, very nice.
He's saying, the person who asked about the color wheel was saying not a wheel like that like the wheel would throw the colors slowly, 30 seconds blend.
Like scroll through.
Yeah, I that is not something that's available with the Wi-Fi product. I believe that is potentially an option with if you're going to use the DMX control, however. I'm not 100% certain on that. Would have to check on that though. But I believe that I've heard that is an option if you're going to integrate this with a home automation system.
Right, and have the third party control that lights and make that happen. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Someone also asked, will the 6401 have the ability to remove the glare shield and be able to adjust in different positions?
The 6401, it does have two options for control. The head that actually throws the light out, that can be adjusted independently from the shield that goes over that, the light engine, if you will. So those are two independent adjustments that can be work together to achieve the throw and the scene that you would like. Hopefully that answers that question.
Okay.
And
I don't see.
Both of those can be locked once you set them, if you're worried about them falling out of the adjustment that you placed them in.
Okay, well, I don't see any other questions. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank Conrad, thank Joel and Todd for all of your insight. Really appreciate your time, and everyone have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.